Hi there, my name is Frank Alexander. I work with Platinum Informatics in Dundee. We are a software development company that focuses on developing software for research laboratories, commercially and academically. My current job title is Business Process Improvement Consultant. It's a very fancy way of saying that I work with people to make them work together effectively and constructively. I've been doing this only for a few months because it evolved from the job I had before with Platinum, which was business analyst. When I was younger, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do with my life. There were two things I did know though. One was that I didn't want to step into my dad's footsteps. He came from a long line of merchant navy officers, and although I like going places, I don't have sea legs, and I never felt the urge to develop them. The other thing was that I like to learn. I'm keen to learn, but I had tremendous trouble with the way many things were presented at school. So if I could be bothered to show up, I was a massive handful in the classroom. Teachers that inspired me were the ones who broke the mold, the ones who were passionate about what they were teaching. And when I spoke to them, they all told very similar stories. It wasn't the passion that had brought them where they were. Some of them didn't even follow their hearts. They got into something because they thought it would sustain them in their lives. The one thing that was the common denominator there was that they all chose something out of curiosity. They picked something that they thought was interesting enough to learn about. And then came the graft, a lot of it, the perseverance, falling, getting up again, over and over again. They made the subject matter their own, and in that process, they became passionate about it. When I got the chance, I took the path that many of my teachers did as well. I went to uni to study tax law. I still didn't have a clue what I wanted to do with my life, but it seemed a sensible choice. Besides, it kept me out of the army for 5 years because when this happened, there was still conscription where I came from, and it was only abolished while I was in uni. I graduated, started working as a junior tax consultant, and guess what? I never got passionate about that job. So after about 18 months, I started to look around. I began to think what I wanted to do. I wanted to broaden my horizon. For me, that meant traveling, talking to people. What I decided to do was to work until I had enough money to travel. When I ran out of money on my journeys, I worked wherever I was. I took whatever job I could get. Usually that meant cleaning, that meant waiting tables, that could be portering, it could be running errands, anything. I followed my curiosity. I talked to people. I learned many things and skills I never learned in school along the way. From the moment I left my job as a tax consultant, I've been an A&R manager with a record company that didn't survive. I've been a freelance business healthcare officer. I've been a freelance project manager, first in IT, then in communication. I became a published writer, while under a pseudonym, writing for Mills and Boon, writing pulp fiction westerns, anything that would get me a bit of money. I left my home country to come to Scotland, become a youth hostel manager. I started my own tour company in Dundee, taking tourists around the east coast of Scotland. And when I decided I had enough of that, I used my same driving license to be a coach driver for a few years. At first sight, these things may not look like they have a lot in common, but they do. All of them are about making a difference in people's lives. And that has been the bottom line of everything I've been doing, and I still do. I have one ambition. I want to be the best I can be in anything I take on. I don't look at others. My ambition is my own. Sometimes that means I'm really good at something. Sometimes my best means I still suck at it. But I learn from everything I do. To me, success is not about money or status. Yes, I want to be able to pay my bills, so I will not turn down a job, any job, if that is what it takes. But what to me success means is to achieve what I set out to do. English is not my first language, yet I had a novel published in English in the UK. That, for me, is success. The icing on the cake, 500 people actually bought that book. My eclectic skill set has brought me where I am now, with Platinum Informatics. They recognize my experience, they recognize my motivation, they recognize my soft skills, my passion to make the world a better place. As a result, I am now working with people who are as passionate about what they are doing as I am about what I am doing. As you probably guessed, I wasn't the greatest fan of school, but I learned quickly that sometimes you have to jump through a couple of hoops to make a better future for yourself. I don't think you can choose a career when you're 16, 17, 18-year-old and expect it to last the rest of your life. I don't even think it's a good idea. So my advice is very simple. Nurture your curiosity. Look at others for inspiration, but don't imitate them. Make your own way in life. Talk to people. Connect with people whenever and wherever you can. Being who you want to be, doing what you really want to do, takes time, effort, and tremendous hard work. But you will find, if you put that in, and if you put your heart into it, your passion will follow. Good luck.